We're going to look at our next section of our 5.5 to 5.6 quiz review. These directions say use sum or difference identities to find the exact value of the following trigonometric expressions. This exact value means we cannot just take our calculators and type in cosine of 5 pi over 12. That gives us a rounded answer. Now it is very accurate because it goes to like 9 decimal places, but it's not exact. So here's what we want to do. Number 7, the way that we talked about this before. So this is a denominator of 12. What we want to do, just a helpful way to think of it, is we want to change this to cosine of two things added or subtracted. And what we can do is we want things to add up to 5. So what adds up to 5? Well, 1 plus 4 adds up to 5. 2 plus 3 adds up to 5. And then really just repeats, so we don't really need to write these. And we want numbers that both can reduce with 12. So if I had 1/12, does that reduce? Well, no, 1/12 doesn't reduce, so it's not going to be this one. Just to kind of figure out or think through that a little more, does 2/12 reduce? Yes, 2/12 reduces. Does 3/12 reduce? Yes, that they both reduce. And so we do want to use 2 and 3 because both 2 and 3 reduce with 12. And so what we're going to do is we're going to write 5 pi over 12 as, using those two numbers, 2 pi over 12 plus 3 pi over 12. Now, we also could use subtraction if we wanted to. We could try to find, like we could do, does 9 reduce with 12? Yes, it does. Minus 4. 9 minus 4 is 5, and 4 reduces with 12. So we could have used 9 minus 4 as well, but addition's usually easier. So now what we're going to do, and I have our sum and difference identities on here, we want to use the cosine sum identity because it's a plus sign. So we're going to come down here for number 7. Sorry about that. For number 7, we're going to use this identity right here. And in our case, alpha is 2 pi over 12. But before we do that, let's go ahead and reduce these, because the reason we do this is because they were reduced to the angles, our special angles that we are familiar with. So that's pi over 6, and if we reduce this one, that's going to be pi over 4. So now coming to our cosine sum identity, alpha is going to be pi over 6, and then beta is going to be pi over 4. And so we're going to use that trig identity. So we have cosine alpha, which is cosine of pi over 6, times cosine beta, so cosine of pi over 4. I crossed it out, but that's a minus. Sine alpha, and alpha is pi over 6, so sine of pi over 6, times sine of beta, which is pi over 4. And now I also put this table here for you. We should be really familiar with this by now, but cosine of pi over 6. Cosine of pi over 6 is root 3 over 2. Cosine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2, minus sine of pi over 6 is a half, and sine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. And so this is root 6 over 4, because 2 times 2 is 4, minus root 2 over 4. We have common denominators there, so we can go ahead and combine those. However, root 6, you cannot combine root 6 minus root 2 because they're not like radicals. And so there is the exact value of cosine of pi over 12. Now, what you can do now is you can use your calculator. You can put this in your calculator. You can put this in your calculator, and if they are the same thing, then you definitely know your answer is right. All right, going over to number 8. Now we want sine of 19 pi over 12. So 19 pi over 12, going back to our thought process of what can we add together to get 19? Well, we can add 1 plus 18. And we want to think, do these reduce with 12? Well, 18 reduces with 12, but 1 does not reduce with 12, so we don't want to use that. What about 2 plus 17? That adds up to 19. 2 reduces with 12, but 17 doesn't reduce with 12, so that's not right. What else? Well, we have 3 plus 16 equals 19. 3 will reduce with 12. 16 reduces with 12, or has a common factor. So this is a good choice. So we are going to rewrite this as sine of 3 pi over 12 plus 16 pi over 12. And now we're going to reduce both of those fractions. So this is actually sine of pi over 4. Is 3 and 12 reduces to pi over 4. And then this 4 goes into both of these. 4 goes into the 16 4 times, and 4 goes into 12 3 times. So this is plus 4 pi over 3. Now this is sine, and it is a sum. So let's go ahead and highlight this. We're going to use this one. Alpha is our first one, so alpha is going to be pi over 4. Don't have much room for this. Pi over 4. And beta is going to be 4 pi over 3. So we're going to do sine of alpha. So sine of pi over 4. Cosine beta. So cosine of 4 pi over 3. Plus cosine alpha, so cosine pi over 4, sine of beta, so sine of 4 pi over 3. And from our chart, we know sine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. Cosine of 4 pi over 3. Well, this goes back to what quadrant it is. Now remember, everything is positive in the first quadrant. Sine is positive in the second quadrant. Tangent is positive in the third quadrant. And cosine is positive in the fourth quadrant. Well, 4 pi over 3, that's in the third quadrant, because here's pi, and 4 pi over 3 is just above pi. So that's going to be in the third quadrant, which means it's going to be negative. So we're doing cosine of pi over 3, which is 1/2. However, since it's in the third quadrant, we know cosine's negative. So this is negative half. And we got plus cosine of pi over 4. That is root 2 over 2. And then sine of 4 pi over 3, all still in the third quadrant, and sine is negative in the third quadrant. So we have negative root 3 over 2. Because again, we're using sine of pi over 3 is root 3 over 2, but we know it's negative because it's in the third quadrant. And so we have negative root 2 over 4 plus a negative root 6 over 4 gives us negative root 2 minus root 6 all over 4, which is a negative, which makes sense because 19 pi over 12 is in the third quadrant, and we know that sign is negative in the third quadrant. And there we have 7 and 8. We used our sum and difference identities.